This is Karen Weiss Krolikowski, founder and partner at firmTRAK Solutions, and I'm joined today with Brian Oltman. And we've just been discussing a little bit about financial institutions and knowing where you're going with your company or with your law firm and knowing where you are right now. So, Ryan, what was your take on this information we were discussing?
Yeah, so what we were kind of wanting to chat a little bit about today is some of these fintech, quote unquote, fintech financial tools or virtual banks that are available to small businesses or any size business really, and what they can kind of offer you in this new era of AI and financial technology app development type of world. You're no longer tied to a traditional brick-and-mortar bank and handwriting paper checks. And so we think it would be prudent for any busy business owner that spends a lot of time dealing with their accounting stuff in terms of paying your vendors and managing your cash flow to consider some of these newfangled fancy tools that are available on the market. Two that we're not affiliated with, but we've sort of dealt with here and there, are Relay Finance and Ramp. And basically what they're going to do for you as a virtual bank or a non-traditional bank is they're going to, like Relay is really focused on organizing your cash flow, while Ramp has a lot of tools for automating your financial operations with a team. So just one example, Ramp will give you unlimited corporate virtual Visa cards. So the idea there is you're going to make a virtual Visa card for every type of expense you have on your accounting financial report, and then you're going to set up the auto pays or put one of your poor office staff in charge of using your unlimited virtual debit cards to pay your bills. And that's going to really speed up your accounting close at the end of the year, and just you're going to front load all your decisions. So this is something I always try to do in our internal closing processes, is we always try to systematize and front load all the work. So then each month becomes a routine. And if there's any deviations from the routine, you turn your brain back on and say, well, what is this? Where does it go? How does it fit into my process? And how do I make this efficient and integrate it for the month-end close, and ultimately delivering a consistent, accurate financial statement. And whereas the other thing with Ramp, which is a similar but different, they offer more like fee-free banking and team access, so you can share your banking with your bookkeeper or your team members. And they have like a high yield savings account, so they're trying to pull your money in and let you have it earn some interest while it's just sitting there, as opposed to like a traditional bank. You don't really earn anything on a checking, and their savings rates are kind of bad for the most part, unless you get like a money market. So with that being said, Karen, what else do you think about when you think of virtual banks and how that would help a business owner out?
Well, there's pros and cons, of course, on each and every side of it. So I think you get better access because you have 24/7 access to your bank. It's convenient, it's accessible. They since they're not brick and mortar, they have a lower overhead cost, so they're able to offer lower fees. There's no minimum deposits, and I think that the real-time tracking gives business owners a real advantage. Especially if they're just starting out. Of course, the downside is that virtual banks are beneficial, but you might want to consider a traditional bank if you require in-person help, or if you need the complex financial advising. So there's pros and cons on both sides. I think for a small business owner, being able to track and set up automated payments for your vendors and your routine, or what we call recurring expenses on a monthly basis, it can be very, very, very beneficial, because then you just set it and don't have to worry about it again. So there's some real big advantages to the technology for virtual banks.
Okay, well, that's it for us today. Consider what your banking is now and how you could maybe be helped with some of these new products coming out and using them in the future. As always, you can reach us at firmTRAK, firmTRAK.com, or leave us a comment, and we'd love to hear from you.